What's up, everybody? Let me try and I'm trying to record this on my other phone, so gotta go get the other phone. What's up, Brian?
Yo, what's good?
Yo, I'm gonna um I'm gonna run into the other room and see if I can record it on my other phone.
All right, I'm gonna get my shit set up. Where's that book at? I don't know.
All right, I'm back. I'm back. So, what you up to today?
Man, working. So I'm filling out. I was just filling out my GC contract. My GC license application, trying to get the insurance so I can go ahead and submit this joint to the city. I can take over my project. But outside of that, I'm really focused on really trying to grow my Instagram back, man. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
they
crazy.
got you
So
out the paint, but I mean, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be able to come back. Like,
yeah, I'm not worried about it. The thing I hate about it is I gotta invest a lot of money now back into like influencer ads. I gotta get my Facebook ads back running because I turned them off because I had them running on both Facebook and Instagram, and I didn't know how it was gonna work with my Instagram not on there. So see, cuz talking about what my
yeah.
face on the screen.
She funny as shit. What's up, everybody? So we got Brian, the infamous CPA, on here. Somebody got him out the paint. They were scamming with his picture. So they suspended his Instagram page, basically.
Yo,
But
Instagram.
that's crazy though, because like people give away money all the time. So why would they like suspend your page? Because that page was trying to give away money.
So what I heard was from people who had similar situations is you can't at that page, like whoever the fake page is, because they'll send all their bots over to your shit and report it. So I think that's exactly what happened. Because after I found out about it, people DM me, screenshot it, threw it in my story, and I tagged them. 5 minutes later, my shit was disabled. I'm like, damn, I probably shouldn't have tagged them. I should have just reported, blocked them, and
Right,
then
and
just
then just screenshotted it and told people,
exactly.
"Hey, oh, okay, okay." I didn't even know. You know, Instagram to me is an all new world, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know too much about it.
Yeah, but you learn. I'm sure I'm gonna get it back though. It's just a matter of when. So this is gonna be probably my backup page, but I'm gonna use it as the primary till then.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, it's all good after the election. I'm pretty sure. I just seen somebody else saying that their page got suspended too.
Yep. I
So,
just started.
I guess it's real common, but
Yeah. I
yeah,
need
let's see.
I need more celebrity friends, man, because my homie it happened to him. And he put up a post and it ran across one of the celebrities who had a team at Facebook and she helped him get his page back. I'm like, I need more celebrity friends. Like they have whole teams at Facebook and Instagram and all of that. I'm like, that's
Right.
what
Hey, you might know people who work at Facebook, maybe.
yeah. I
Might be
emailed a couple of people who haven't got no responses yet. So
mm,
we'll see. We
Damn.
will see.
What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up, Chrissy? What's up, Cuz? What's up, Simone? Rain, Dale, everybody in here. Gio, what's up? Creative Bully, what's good? So I guess we can get this started. So um, I guess to start out, like how is your house hacking going right now? Because I know didn't you use a FHA? Did you use a 203K loan, right?
Yeah.
For the
So
one
I
you're
bought.
working on.
Yep. So, you mean the one I just bought or the first one? You talking about the?
I don't know. I thought I know you used it. I don't know which one you used it
Oh
on.
yeah. So I used it twice. So the first
Oh,
time it was
okay.
actually under my name, and I did the 203K. So I put like 50K in repairs in it. I'm still in it now. This is why I'm here now, but it's actually on the market. So that's been a process within itself, man. This is
Mm,
like the fourth time I'm under contract. And it's really been due to the buyers. Like I've been getting some bad buyers, but
mm.
now I'm realizing like I didn't have the proper team in place to actually screen those buyers, like make
Okay.
sure that they was, on point to actually even accept their contract.
Mm.
So that's what I'm gonna be doing moving forward after this even sales. But under contract again, I actually have my appraisal tomorrow. And if all goes well, we're slated to close next Friday, but you never know during COVID, man. Because the property I just closed on like a month and a half ago, we was under contract for like 65, 70 days, another 2 or 3K. It was ridiculous. Like I don't know what was going on, but pretty
Just to
much
purchase it or to
all the
close?
lenders are slammed. Huh?
Mm. To close on the house?
Yep. All
Mm.
the lenders are like mad busy. And they
Yeah.
don't even admit that they just mad busy. They just take all day and try to make excuses. And I'm like, bro, just tell the truth. Like y'all busy. Y'all can't handle the load y'all got right now, and just tell us that. Like, I'd rather you tell
Yeah.
us that than just have it up in the air.
Yeah, I was dealing with Navy. I was trying to do a refinance, but they told me up front, they're like, "Hey, it's gonna be like a 6 to 9 month
Mm-hmm.
process." And I was like, "Oh hell no!" Like I'm not waiting that long. 6 to 9 months, like that's entirely too long. But Navy is letting people rate lock, but their terms were just crazy. They wanted you to put down too much money, like way too much money. So I didn't end up going with them.
Yeah.
But like, so how's your process going now? So, or the one that you did already, like how did that go that you use your 203K one? How'd that go?
So it went well. The construction aspect, I learned a lot. Had some issues with my contractor because what I did was wait, what did she say? I don't know what that says. But what I did, I bought it when I was in a very, very busy time during my career, like busy season. So for those who don't know, my background is in public accounting. I was an auditor for PwC, one of the big four accounting firms. And during busy season, we worked like 70 to 80 hours. So I didn't do my proper due diligence when I got this contractor. So he wasn't, this was his first 203K project, unbeknownst to me. So he didn't really have the capital to move the project along. So it was weeks at a time where work wasn't being done. And because I'm getting home at 1, 2 a.m., like I'm only checking the property like on Saturdays and
Mm-hmm.
Sundays or whatever to see what progress was done. Um, but now everything's rocking and rolling. I actually just re I just re-signed my one of my tenants to another lease. Section 8 just gave me a rent increase. Even though I'm selling, I kind of just wanted to set the new buyer up for success, especially since it's a black woman. Well, it's a black couple actually.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure they was getting a little bit more rental income, especially since the price point is not what it was when I bought it. Obviously, because I purchased for 140, put about 52 grand into it. My current mortgage balance is like 188, and we under contract for 299. So
Sheesh.
yeah.
Hey, that's a good come up. So did you had to live in it for 12 months before you sold it, right? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So that's something that people need to be aware of. Anytime you're dealing with FHA loans, you have to live in them for 12 months. If you
hmm
don't, I mean, I don't know how they'll find out, but I mean, I wouldn't even really risk it. So
Yeah.
just 12 months, just live there, then move out after that. But so cuz she was asking, so what are you doing now to screen your tenants? Like what are you using? She said, are you using Realto? I don't know what that is.
I think she's been a realtor, but she's talking about the buyers. I am using a realtor, but I'm probably gonna be trying other people out. Because what I learned during the selling process is, man, whoever you use as a realtor, they need a big team, man.
Mm.
Like they really, really need a big team. And I think a lot of realtors, it's just them. Maybe they have one assistant, but man, I just met a realtor last week. He has 7 people on his team. And I'm like, that's what I need. I need
Just
somebody
him,
that's
like it's
gonna
his like own realtor firm or what?
nah, he's like VP. He's the vice president at some firm, some realty agency or whatever. And he
Mm.
has 7 people specifically is on his team. And I'm like, that's exactly what I need. They get it done. Like their marketing materials are crazy. Like I wish I had it next to me. It's in the kitchen, but I went and toured one of their projects. It's on the north side of Chicago. So these like $1 million condos, $1 million properties, and their marketing is like, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, so it's gonna get sold for sure versus like last time you was trying to do it and you just had
Hmm.
the wrong buyers coming through.
Exactly.
Yeah, so talk about your house hacking course. Like what is it about? Like I told people in my emails, I don't know everybody, a lot of people in here probably read my emails and stuff, but
Hmm.
yeah, I told people about your house hacking course and like it's a good way to really live for free. So if you're not living for free, it'll be damn near free. So could you like tell people about that?
Yeah. So, um, just to take a step back, for those who don't know, house hacking is essentially where you can do it two ways. I emphasize one way, which is buying a multifamily property, 2 to 4 units using an FHA loan, where basically your tenants are paying you to live, and at the same time, if you do it the right way, you can profit. So in my case, I live for free, and at the same time, I'm profiting, $300 to $400 a month cash flow. So that's after taking into consideration all the additional expenses, because most people think you just paying your mortgage, you just paying your property taxes, but nope, you got insurance. If you're doing FHA, you got PMI. You need to save every month for vacancies, maintenance, capital expenditures, things like that. And that's what I really like about my course, because I created a spreadsheet where you can throw all those numbers in and get a very, very accurate estimate of how much cash flow you're gonna have every month. But that's kind of what I really, really love about house hacking. Like, it's so many different benefits. You got the tax benefits. If you do a 2 or 3K loan where you actually renovate it and, increase increase the property value by renovations, man, you just have so much upside. Like, you can sell it, you can cash out refinance at 75% of the property value, and take some of the equity out and use it to buy the next deal. It's so many different ways you can do it, and I break all that down in my course, and I try to walk people down the process A to Z. So we start with basically you evaluating what's your why. Like, why do you want to buy property? How is it going to set you up for success? And then from there, we go into your personal finances, so you can actually understand where you are right now and how you can set up a plan to get to where you need to be to actually save for the down payment, et cetera, et cetera. And then we go into, what to look for in a realtor, what to look for in a contractor if you're doing a 2 or 3K. We talk about the whole buying process. Talk about, how to see if the property that you're buying is in an ideal neighborhood. Like, we go through pretty much everything A to Z. So I try to make all my courses like a blueprint,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people, they just make their course they just put so much fluff into their courses where you
It'd be
gotta
all
buy the
fluff.
next one. Yeah, it's like you gotta buy the next one. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I just wanted to get it one and done, because there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of hassle that goes into selling courses, especially because I'm on Gumroad, so looking to switch
I've been telling you to get off
pretty
there.
soon. Yeah, I got to get off there. But other than that, we got quizzes as well.
Yeah.
So I got two different quizzes, one for the first half of the course, the other for the latter half, just so you can test your knowledge, because everybody got super short attention spans. Like, and I broke up each section into like 8 different videos. So even though it's broken up, I still want to make sure that people can actually make sure they're actually digesting the knowledge and learning, because it's easy to watch a video and forget the majority of the video because you're on your phone or you're distracted, whatever, so have you. So those quizzes are a way to test your knowledge to make sure you actually digested the material.
Yeah, yeah. Your course, that course and the real car money course are both really good. So, I definitely suggest people to check them out so you can go into the house buying process like informed, like well informed, not just like doing it on a whim. So, yeah, I mean, and me, like when you were talking about the 203K loans, like I feel like that's the best way really
Yeah.
to do a house hack because you're gonna force the appreciation, so you're gonna be
Mhm.
up because you're buying a property that needs to be renovated. Um, you're gonna force the appreciation. You're gonna end up like renting out, getting the cash flow,
Mhm.
and like just like how you did, you can sell it. And I believe it's like tax free. Anything under the 250K should be tax free. Um, I was looking
Yeah.
at that. Yeah, because
Or
it's your
yeah,
primary home, right?
exactly.
So you save on the capital gains versus like going into a traditional investment property.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. When you think about it from that lens, because like if you profiting like 100K capital gains tax, if you hold it for over a year, you're still probably gonna be, depending on your tax bracket, you're gonna be paying anywhere from 15 to 20%. That might change with Biden tax plan or Trump if he gets elected. But under the current tax plan, so like you save 15 to 20K off a 100K profit from taxes from a tax standpoint. And on top of that, you got the depreciation, so you're gonna save a little bit more there too. Like, you're gonna save so much
Right.
during the course of the process. Like when I bought this property and I did my taxes the following year, this was the first year I got a refund since college. Um, because college is easy to get a refund, but when you actually working and making a good salary at your 9 to 5, it's a little bit tougher. But
Mhm.
once I bought this property, it was smooth sailing from there from a tax refund standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like everybody, like my whole thing is buy an investment property before you buy your primary house because it's going to be so much harder to get. Like, first off, if you use your FHA loan once, you have to refinance out of that if you want to
Yeah.
try and do it again to house hack something. You aren't going to
Mm-hmm.
be able to use another FHA loan. I think you have to sell it or refinance it first. So, to be able to take advantage of that your first time, get in that property, only live there for 12 months, then leave. Like, I mean, I don't see why anybody would really be opposed to it. Like, if you're able to get a duplex. So,
Mm-hmm.
me, I had my townhouse and I ended up house hacking by renting out the rooms because I was just like, this mortgage is outrageous and I'm not about to pay it all out of pocket. So I started renting out the rooms, and that was before I even knew what house hacking was. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
just started renting the rooms out because I live so close to DC. Um,
Mm-hmm. Question.
yeah, somebody asked what's the ideal amount of money to have to be able to start house hacking a duplex.
So it's gonna depend on the market you in. So my advice to everyone, like, find out like what's the average price of a duplex in your market, but you gotta first identify whether you actually want to do a renovation or you want to buy a turnkey. Because if it's turnkey, then you need to figure out what's the price of a turnkey property in your actual market, because that's what I found out because I was searching for like a year and literally I wanted some turnkey and I couldn't find nothing, so I'm like, okay, I got to do a renovation.
Mm,
So just to give you guys some numbers perspective, turnkey 3 unit was like 300K at the time in Chicago, right? But I got my property done for 190K. So that's $110,000 difference, and that's a huge difference in the mortgage as well. Especially when I was buying, rates wasn't as low as they are now.
mm,
And since I use a 2 or 3K loan, the interest rate was a little bit higher. So I have a pretty high interest rate too. So my mortgage right now is 1165, but it would have been probably maybe $300 to $500 more if I would have just bought it turnkey and had that same rate. But yeah, I'd say find a price point, multiply that by 3.5% so you can see what the down payment is, and then add like a 20%, add like 20% to that so you can have some room for closing costs. But I always advise people to ask for a closing cost credit. So if you're in a very competitive market, like, offer a little bit more than maybe the list price, and on the back end, maybe ask for 3 to 6% closing cost credit to help you out on the closing cost end.
So what is a closing cost credit for people who might not know? If they haven't purchased a house, they don't know about closing costs.
Yeah. So closing costs are essentially additional costs that every buyer or seller has to pay. So you have to pay the title company, you have to escrow your property taxes. Sometimes they make you escrow PMI if you're doing FHA. They make you escrow a couple of other things. There's a ton of other additional fees associated with that. You got to pay for your appraisal. You got to pay for inspection, which is not a part of closing costs, but it is an additional cost that you need to think about. Um, so that's why you always ask for a closing cost credit, because closing costs are typically like 2 to 4%, I would say, of whatever the purchase price of the property is. So on top of your down payment, it's another 2 to 4% that you gotta pay to actually get the deal closed. So
A
yeah, that's
lot of
pretty
people
much
they
all
don't
that is.
account for that. They don't
Yeah.
ever account for closing costs. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, down payment 3.5%, I'm good. But then they don't account for the closing costs, and then it's more money you got to pay on the back end.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I would say if you want to learn more about closing costs, something I learned from MG, the mortgage guy, he broke it down like crazy because when you're buying a house for the first time, you really don't know what's a good deal from a lender point of view. You don't know how much they're charging for points to get you the rate that they're getting. Like all of that plays a huge factor in how much you're actually paying. So you got to look out for that. And that's something I know a lot of buyers don't know. I definitely didn't know it. I didn't know whether I was getting a good rate, bad rate. I didn't know what points was when I was buying my house for the first time. But that's
Right.
something I learned. I learned, as I went on, and then getting that commercial real estate experience as well. Because I was my past job before I got laid off, I was a financial analyst for a commercial real estate developer. So I was learning like all of that from a commercial real estate perspective, and I'm just applying it to residential now.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, do you think people should pay points to like get down the rate? 'Cause I know with Navy Federal, that's something they do a lot, and I'm sure a lot of lenders do that too. Like you can pay points to get a lower interest rate. Do you think that's good or you think that's bad?
In this market, I don't think it's needed. Like
Hmm.
I don't think it's needed in this market. But if it was in a little bit higher cost market, you can. If you have the additional capital and it's not affecting your emergency savings, like you can go for it. But yeah, it really just depends on your rate. If you got a decent rate, then you're fine. Especially if it's getting paid from your tenants, like you're good. There's really no need to.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I wouldn't pay it. It's too high. It's too much. Like you pay
Yeah.
all that on the front end, and let's say you move or something. Let's say you refinance, then you paid all that up front, and
Hmm.
you end up refinancing, and it's not like you're gonna get that money back. That money's gone.
Exactly.
So yeah, I try to keep those costs as low as possible. Somebody asked somebody asked how much do you pay the 203 consultant after closing?
So actually, you pay for the work right up front. So that's typically anywhere. It's going to depend actually. So what you can do, you can download the FHA handbook, and the FHA handbook actually lays out what the HUD consultant can actually charge. So it's going to depend on how much the renovations are. So I think for $100,000 renovation, if it's over 100,000, the work write up, the max they can charge is $1,000. And then on top of that, you're paying for each inspection. So the HUD consultant is going to come out when you need a draw to pay your contractor. They're going to say, okay, this was like, okay, maybe they installed the cabinets. Okay, this cabinets was installed appropriately. And then they're just going to look at everything that was done for that draw period and inspect it to make sure it's good to go. And then you're going to pay for that inspection. So it's typically anywhere from 250 to 350 per inspection. If you're doing like a full gut renovation, you're probably going to have at least 4 to 5 draws. So just it's going to be at least probably like somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500. And then on top of that, if you have any change orders, like maybe something comes up, they open up the walls and something wasn't accounted for, or you want to change something, like that's an additional charge too. So most HUD consultants, they charge you anywhere from 50 to 150 for each change order as well. So you got to look out for that too.
Yeah, that sounds like that can get expensive. I didn't even know they had like a consultant for the 203K loans.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the benefit to it because it's really like a renovation on training reels. Because you
Hmm.
got if you hire a very experienced HUD consultant, I always recommend getting somebody who has at least 10 years of experience in construction. So maybe they're a GC, maybe they was a structural engineer, something like that. Maybe there's an architect, whatever. Right?
Hmm.
Make sure they have that construction experience because they're gonna when they do that initial work write up, they're going to estimate how much it's going to cost. Um, and depending on the standards that they use, you're going to be able to get bids from different contractors and say, okay, maybe this is too high, maybe this is too low, based on your work write up. So in my case, luckily I had the experience on the second go around because my HUD consultant, he actually used national averages for different aspects of the renovation. So he came in mad high for the renovation. He came in at like 240K. And
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way this is going to cost 240K. And we're paying like 60K less for
Oh
the actual
wow.
renovation. So that national industry standard shit is kind of BS. But it is real numbers because that's essentially what people should be using. But contractors typically they're not competent to know those national averages. Like they don't really know.
Right.
Uh, so typically the cost comes in way lower. But yeah, the HUD consultant is dope though. You got to make sure you hire the right one though. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know how to properly inspect your crib. Like you can have some issues.
And I'm sure that like draws out the process like much longer than what
Hmm.
you thought it was going to be because you basically have like a GC that doesn't know what they're doing.
Yep, for
And you
sure.
paying them too. Every time they come out, you saying that you got to
Hmm.
pay them and they don't know what they're doing. I'm sure that can go wrong very quickly.
Yeah, so I had a bad HUD consultant. That's why I love sharing my experience because I want
Mhm.
people to learn from it. My HUD consultant, like after the fact, I was still finding stuff that he missed. Like we had the plumbing underneath the sink in the kitchens in both units. He like the contractor didn't put drywall around the plumbing hole, so it was just like open right there, right? So let's say you get a mice infestation, the mice is gonna come through the walls. They're gonna come through that hole in the wall, and they're gonna
Mhm.
terrorize the place, right? Or if you're dealing with Section 8, them inspectors are ruthless, man. They
Right.
came in, they're like, "You got this hole in both units." I'm like, I can't believe my consultant didn't find this. Um, so yeah, stuff like that. That's why it's important to have a very good HUD consultant, man.
I'm sure like people probably could take Nita's inspection course and that could probably help them out too. So then you at least kind of know what you're looking at when the consultant is coming through. You know, she has the home inspector course and I don't think it's too expensive, but like for somebody who
Mhm.
doesn't know what's going on, because like if you get into the 2 or 3K loan, you know, you're doing a renovation without having any experience at all. So I guess
Yep.
it would be good to at least understand what's going on with your renovation. Um,
No, I want to reiterate that because I bought the course. I'm actually studying for the home inspector license right now too, and
mhm.
man, I'm learning so much. And I'm like, this home becoming a licensed home inspector is really a way to fast track your construction knowledge because you got to know pretty much everything, every facet of it. So, man, I would highly recommend that because one, we need more competent black home inspectors, and then two, if you really want to fast track your knowledge to know what the gurus know about construction, man, you need to become a home inspector if you want to learn that stuff really quickly.
Mm, yeah, that sounds good. So we have another question here. So it's the lady who travels. She said, "I'm a single woman, and and she has safety concerns in regards to house hacking. How do you make sure you're safe with other tenants?"
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same. It's like you living in a multifamily building and you're not the owner. Like, one, you should always be protected. You should always have, a firearm in your house. I don't let people know I'm the owner. I tell people I'm the property manager, and my dad's the owner since I'm young. I got a baby face. Like, they don't be believing me anyway. Like, I remember when I was holding showings for the apartments. People was like, "You the owner?" I'm not lying to him, of course. No, my dad's the owner. He's like, yeah, I didn't think so. In my head, I'm laughing like you have no idea. But
Yeah,
make
when
sure
people
you.
find out like you're young and you're owning stuff and you're doing stuff and like they're renting from you, like some people they really it depends how they are, but some they take it as like, oh, this like young kid, they don't know what they're
Mhm.
doing. Like I'm much older than them. Like if I rent from them, I'm just gonna run all over them. So I
Yeah,
mean,
they'll
I
try.
really just think it's best to keep it professional and just have
Hmm.
them like not even know who you are at all. Like
Yeah.
definitely don't tell them you're the owner. Like and if you like even if you are doing maybe if you're house hacking each room, then I mean you could say you aren't the owner, but I mean it's going to be kind of hard if you're living
Hmm.
in your property and you're house hacking the rooms. But like when
Yeah.
it comes to like renting out properties, like whether it's a single family or multifamily, yeah, I would just steer away from letting people that you know that you own the place.
Yeah, that, and I wouldn't recommend for a single woman without a firearm to rent out the rooms, especially to like men or anything like that. But if you compensate with your firearm, you good maybe. But I would just recommend just going the multifamily route so you have that barrier between your unit and the other tenant's unit versus your room is down the hallway from their room or something
Mhm.
like that. But yeah, that's really the only way to make sure you're safe. And I just recommend any woman, period. Like y'all need y'all not just your FOID, what we call it, the FOID card in Illinois, but you need to have your concealed carry, man. You need to
Hell
have
yeah,
your concealed
everybody needs
carry.
to have that concealed carry.
Yep,
Get a firearm. Right now, bullets are expensive. So, but
mad
once they
expensive.
come down, get a firearm. Go to the range, practice.
Hmm.
But I mean, I know with me, like I had a preference to have like women roommates when I was renting out the room. Like I had one woman and a man, but it was like it was cool. It wasn't too bad. But yeah, like if you feel like you wouldn't be comfortable with it, I wouldn't recommend renting out the room. You probably should just get a duplex.
Yep. So,
And then Simone, she asked, would you use a property management company for your property or manage it yourself? What do you think about that?
so I don't think the margin is there. Like if it's just a 2 or 3 unit, it's really no margin for you or the property management company. So they're not really gonna treat your property with respect.
Mm.
So I'll just say do it yourself, save that 10% or whatever, because it's really not worth it. And you just cutting into your profit for no reason. But at the end of the day, you got to know yourself too. Like if you're the type of person you don't want to deal with it at all, like that peace of mind might be worth that 10%. So you got to know yourself. But for me, I wouldn't use a property management company till I probably have maybe 10 to 15 units, and I'm gonna vertically integrate and just create my own and just hire people because it's not tough. It's really not tough.
Yeah, I had a property manager for my townhouse, and I let him go. I was like, I don't need a property manager anymore. Like the tenants, if your place is in good shape, they're hardly ever reaching out to you.
Yeah.
So like I don't ever hear from the tenants. Even when I had him, he hardly heard from the tenants. So it's like, it's really what are you really paying for? Somebody
Exactly.
to really just find new tenants once a year or once every other year whenever somebody moves out, like that's really what you're paying for the most part if you got a good property. But I like to use this website called Cozy. It's cozy.co to collect the rents, and I think it keeps it real easy. And then the tenants they can make their maintenance request on there too. So I like to use that. It keeps it
Mm-hmm.
pretty simple, and then like make a separate email just for dealing with your tenants,
Yep.
and that's really all you got to do. Like, your
Mm-hmm.
tenants really shouldn't be calling you unless it's like an emergency. And even then, you can hire like a maintenance person,
Yep.
right? You can get a maintenance person and maybe have them direct the calls to them when it's like serious maintenance that needs to be done.
Yeah, and I like Cozy as well. I think it's free too. What I
Yeah.
use is I
Hmm.
use is I use a veil. So the biggest difference that made me want to use a veil rather than Cozy is the fact that I can send out the lease on the veil. I can send a lease and everything can be done online. So I can create my lease online. I can send it to the tenant. They can sign it online. They can pay online. Oh, they can pay online with Cozy too. But the lease is what made it worth that little. Like I think it's like $8 for the first unit, and then now I'm paying like $16 a month. But it's worth it just for the lease standpoint for me.
Yeah, see, I was using Zillow. So, like, when I send out my leases, I just do it straight through Zillow. They got it all in there for free.
I don't even
Well, I
know
mean,
how
you
to
got
do
to
that.
pay Zillow every week or something like that while it's up there. But once
Mm-hmm.
it gets like, once you got your tenant, you can send them the lease for free. So I just do it like that and then
Oh,
go
that's
from
dope.
there. Yeah. Yeah, they really trying to take over, man. I mean, and really it's smart because they just getting a bunch of market research. Like
Mm-hmm.
you got landlords that are putting like their actual leases and stuff. Like they know how much these properties are renting for. So when it's time for them to start acquiring properties, they're gonna have the best information.
Yeah,
Yeah,
facts.
can you spell that website that you said you use?
Yeah, I'm a matter of fact. Let me just throw it in the comments.
Okay.
Avail. And I think that's what the key resource. If y'all familiar with the key resource, I know she uses it. I think Nita might use it too. I know she talked about it a little bit a while ago. Um, but no, Avail is pretty dope.
So Dio he asked, how do you vet tenants?
So I got a whole process with that, which I go over in my house hacking course. But it's essentially I got a pre tenant form. So I basically send this out to anybody who inquires about the property before they even see it. It's like you have to meet these standards. So first you got to come up with the standards that you want. Like maybe it's a 620 credit score. Maybe you don't want anybody with any evictions on their credit. Maybe you want their gross income to be at least 3 times the monthly rent. So come up with your tenant standards, and then from there, what I do is I send out a form, have them fill it out, and if they don't meet any of the standards, then they automatically get xed out from even seeing the property. So I send that out to everybody first and foremost, and then I run the background check. I run I get their credit score and all that, and I do all this through a veil because that's easy, and it allows you to do it through there. And then from there, I kind of make a decision. I also look at their social media, so I'm searching their names, like I'm trying to see, how they are on Facebook, and then also look at their car, like
Yeah,
not the outside of their car, but the inside. Because nine times out of 10, if somebody has a messy car, they probably treat their house messy as well. So I look at that too. And then I've heard of some people as well, like maybe they'll say, "Oh, you forgot to fill out X, Y, and Z on the application. Let me do a quick drive by and have you sign it so they can see, how they're living." I didn't do that, but that may be something that you can do as well, because some people just messy, like especially when if you're dealing with Section 8 tenants, you really 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 got to vet them, because it's really hit or miss. Because I've
Mhm.
had, like, I got a Section 8 tenant, sometimes those places spotless, man. Sometimes you go in there and it's just like, whoa, she got tenants, I mean she got kids. um so yeah, that's super super important, especially when you're dealing with Section 8, because people are really like polar opposites when it comes to Section 8. It's either they're gonna be a great tenant or they not. In most cases.
Yeah, I know people who live in Section 8 and they like usually keep it spotless because most the people who really take advantage of Section 8 to where they don't want to lose it, they're gonna keep the place spotless. But the people who don't really see it as like advantageous to them, they treat it any kind of way because they're just like whatever. They don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Andrea, you asked if we're recording this. Yeah, I'm recording on my other phone, so hopefully it comes through fine. I think it will. What's up? What's up, Ash? I think we got another question. Oh yeah. So do you do your own showings?
Yeah, so I do my own insurance, and to keep it
So how do
anonymous,
you do it? Yeah, how do you do it and stay anonymous? Just tell them, just lie, be like, I don't own it.
tell them I'm the property manager. So I have a actual company that I use for property management, and I just say, yeah, I'm the property manager. I'm showing it. That's really all I do. Because it's really not hard. Like,
Hmm.
it's typically, you set it up in 15-minute increments, and you make people confirm that they're actually coming. Or what you do is you do group showings. So I highly 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 recommend people to do group showings. Like maybe on the Saturday you got a group showing at 11 a.m., maybe you got one at 2 p.m. So then you get 20 30 people to come out and just do it all at once. I don't recommend it during COVID now, but
Hmm.
pre-COVID, that was definitely the thing that you could do. But what a lot of people do is they'll book a showing if you're doing just individuals, and they just won't show up. So you got to make it required that they actually confirm, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour before, that they're actually going to come. You don't want to drive to the property and then nobody, shows up. That happened to me a couple of times, and that's why I started doing group showings.
Yeah, that's a good tip. Um, Somebody else asked, have you ever had to evict a tenant?
Almost. So I definitely gave some threats, man, and I think it was I think it was because of what happened, like you were mentioning earlier, like they saw I was young, they thought I could take advantage, but when that eviction notice came, hey, everybody got in line quick.
Yeah, so with
Really quick.
me, um, I kind of had to evict two people, but I never really had to go through the courts or anything like that. Like when I was house hacking, the person just stopped paying, so I'm like, all right, you gotta go.
Yeah.
And most people they'll just leave, so that's why I've never really had to do anything. And then even recently with COVID, the family that I had in my townhouse, they had stopped paying, so they didn't pay for like a month and a half, and then they were just like at the back end they were like, oh, just use our security deposit to like cover a month's rent. And I mean, it's fine, but it kind of sucks though, because it's like you still missing out on that money.
Yeah.
So, and
Facts.
then you got that like that time in between where you're trying to get somebody else in. So what's up, Phil? So yeah, so I mean, I kind of had to evict like two people. And then one person when we was house hacking, they just up and left, didn't say nothing, just up and left.
Right.
So it's not like all peaches and cream when it comes to real estate, but it's just a part of the business, and you should easily be able to overcome any obstacles that you face, as long as you're prepared like properly, right?
Yeah.
Um, so how do you think people can kind of like protect themselves when it comes to house hacking?
Man, first things first, like one thing that people don't evaluate, like, is your property condition. So if your property is like laissez-faire, is not really up to a huge standards, man, you're gonna attract tenants that looking for that. But if your property A1, like you're gonna probably attract some better tenants. And one thing I always well, one thing I learned, going through this process, you got to make sure your units are properly insulated from floor to floor. Like the person, you shouldn't be able to hear the person above you. That's what I got a lot of complaints because on my first property, I didn't do a full gut. So whatever was, I didn't open up any walls really, except in the kitchens and bathrooms. That was the only places I like fully gutted. So man, like make sure your property is solid. That's why I always recommend doing a 203K. And if you can, do a full 203K. Replace all the mechanicals, your HVAC, your electric, your plumbing, all new drywall. Make sure the proper insulation is in there, et cetera, et cetera. Because the better your property is, the less maintenance requests you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And the more your tenants are going to actually enjoy the property as well. But I'll say from a landlord perspective, make sure you're a great landlord. Like tenants really have respect for landlords that are great. Like they're on top of everything. Like I send my tenants because they're both Mother's Day cards, Christmas cards, whatever, so have you. Like just go the extra mile because at the same time, where we come from, we typically don't have good landlords. I know I had a bad landlord experience, which made me want to buy. So definitely, definitely, just be a good landlord and protect yourself by having all your ducks in a row. Make sure you have people lined up for each individual maintenance request. Like you need to have an HVAC guy, you need to have an electrician, you need to have someone doing lawn care, someone doing snow if you're in a state where it snows. Um, you need to have all that in a row. So it takes a lot of planning, and you may not have it initially, but you need to be working on that. So what I do, I just keep all that information in a spreadsheet as far as maintenance. Like I got a list of people I did business with that were competent, and I had them on my speed dial ready to go when anything comes up. So yeah, those are a couple of tips. And make sure you just really, really vetting your tenants. Like don't take any cash payments. Um,
Don't
don't take
don't fall
anybody.
for people saying
Yeah,
like, oh, I
don't
will
do that.
pay the first 2-3 months of rent. Like, don't fall for none of that.
Mhm.
Like, in my opinion, it's all scams or they about to be a headache. Like, why are you
Yeah.
offering to pay 3 months worth of rent? Like,
Hmm.
what is that? What's the purpose for that? I don't trust it, so I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. That and people who they looking to move in, a couple of days after they viewed the unit. It's like, nah, it don't work like that. I got to do, the background check. I got to do X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
So typically in that situation, they running from an eviction. So they're going to bring whatever problems they had at their old place right to your place. And you definitely don't want that.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, so I use Zillow, and like their process when people apply for the property,
Mm-hmm.
it does the background check, it does everything. It does the background check, it does the credit check, it does all of that. So, that's another reason why I like to use Zillow. So it handles all that type of stuff. So I can see any evictions, I can see anything going on with their credit, all prior rental history, all of that type of stuff.
Mm, that's dope. Yeah.
Somebody asked, so how many properties can you handle on your own before having to hire a property manager? Hey, what's
That
up, Steph?
that depends on the person. Like
Mm.
I know Auntie Aisha, she owns, I don't know how many she owns, but she owns a lot, right? And she manages them all herself on
Yeah, I don't
top
know
of
how she
having
does that.
her
She got
own
like 40
business
some
and
units and
yeah,
she does it
exactly.
all herself.
So that's gonna depend on the person.
hmm Somebody asked, how many units do we own?
So I have 5 right now, 3 active and 2 are under the being renovated.
My bad. Somebody just called me. I don't even know how they made it through. But yeah, so me, I just have my one townhouse, and I'm trying to buy a property in Cleveland next month. I'm just waiting on Nita and B, so I'm just waiting on them.
Dope.
But
Yeah, I
yeah,
want
I
something in
plan on
Cleveland too.
shooting. What'd you say?
The numbers just make sense in Cleveland, especially if you're looking solely for cash flow. It's like
Hmm.
it just makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So, in the way that like we have the deal structured, for me it works out perfect. So I'm not going to get as much cash flow starting out, but like 5 years later, I'll be straight cash flow, which is going to be great for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, TiVo, you're a little late, Princess. What you mean if you have a slumlord? I mean, if you have a slumlord, I mean that's bad. So. Um, I don't advise anybody to be slumlords at all. There's some websites out here, they promote people being slumlords. Like they think that's the cool thing to be. You shouldn't be a slumlord. You should be trying to take care of your tenants and making sure that they're good, because you
Yeah.
wouldn't want that to happen to you.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. Yeah, another question. Somebody said something about drywall. What does that say? Somebody asked, does getting new drywall help with not hearing tenants above or below you? So one is going to depend on the drywall that you get. Um, so most people, they use like half-inch drywall, but you can go with 5/8. And depending on, what your city code is, it may require 5/8. Like the new Chicago city code requires 5/8. It used to only require it in basements, basement ceilings, but now it requires it throughout. For any type of new renovation. So that helps, but ultimately you need that insulation. That insulation is what's really going to absorb the sound. So what happens is once somebody stumps or something like that, the vibrations flow through the floor joists, and the insulation absorbs those vibrations, which is the sound. So make sure it's just properly insulated.
Yeah, my friend, she just bought a brand new townhouse, brand new, right? And they didn't put any insulation in there. She said she can
Uh,
literally hear the entire conversation for like her neighbors. She was like, it sounds like they're doing construction over there. She said it's constant banging and people loud. I was like, yeah,
mhm.
I don't know. The builder must have got over on her. That's what I think. I think the builder
Yeah.
got over, and like I guess she must have missed the installation step, because when throughout the new construction, you can go in and you can look and see what's going on. So she
Hmm.
must have missed that vital step. So now she's talking about going back and insulating it herself. She's like, she can't take it. She just moved in like a month ago.
That sucks. So what I typically tell people, especially if you're doing any type of new construction or if you're buying something turnkey that was recently renovated, go check the city's record and see if they pulled the appropriate permits. Because in
Mm.
Chicago, it's two ways people gonna do it, right? They're either gonna do it the right way, which is if you're doing a full gut, you need an architect, you need plans, you need all the permits, you need the city to come out do inspections when you got your rough electrical in, rough plumbing, rough HVAC, whatever, right? The other way, they're going to do a phased approach. So maybe they'll pull, one or two permits, put them in the window. So if an inspector comes by, they see that, oh, maybe they have a permit, right? Maybe they'll cover up the window so the inspector can't just look through the window. And they may not pull all of the permits or have all of the inspectors come out. So make sure if you're buying something turnkey and you paying that premium, make sure every single permit was pulled, because I don't know how they got away with it on new construction,
On
because
new
usually on new
construction.
construction, right, they're requiring all the plans and permits and the inspectors to come out. So how
Mhm.
did they miss it not being insulated? That don't really make sense. So they did something where that they wasn't supposed to do.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, I told her she need to go back to the builder, because that's
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous for you to have a new construction and you talking about you about to take out all the drywall and put in insulation, and it's only been a month. I
Yeah,
need the compensation for that. I wouldn't be.
I would report them to the city, 100%.
Oh, okay.
That's what I
Yeah,
would
I'm
do.
I'm
I
gonna
would
let her
report
know.
them to the city.
I'm gonna let her know. And then, so what do you think about new constructions? Like, I know me personally, after me getting my first one, like I realized, like I would never buy a new construction, like unless you got it and you literally building it from the ground up. Like you buy your own land, you build it from the ground up, sure. But like purchasing a new construction from somebody else, like I just wouldn't do it, because just like you said, that premium. Like for my townhouse, I had 30,000 in upgrades, and I mean, it don't look like 30,000 in upgrades. You know, it's just they charge you so much for carpet, hardwood.
Mm-hmm.
It's just basic stuff. Like I had another friend, shit, her builder, they didn't even give her doorknobs. You had to pay for doorknobs. I'm like, how you gotta pay for doorknobs? That should be standard.
That's wild.
What's up,
No, so
dude?
I was gonna say, I like the idea of building myself, especially Tyron from Houston Vintage Homes. He got me ready. He got me ready to buy some land and build something, man.
Right.
Especially in Chicago's market, multifamily market right now, like inventory is so low, and that's kind of what made all the price points shoot up like crazy. So you can buy a lot, and you got a competent builder, and you can just have them manage the project. I would say go for it, but just buying something that was freshly built, nah. Like the premiums, it's just gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
It's gonna
yeah.
be
It's
crazy.
a crazy premium, and then like if and when the market crashes, you want to take a huge hit. You want
A
to take a
huge
huge hit.
hit.
Like I mean, I see everybody now. Like everybody buys new construction, but nobody thinking about all right, what's the value of this property going to be like when the market crashes? Like because people, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't know if the value of your house is less than what your value of your loan is. Like you can't sell that house unless you pay whatever it is you owe. So if you bought the house,
Yep.
let's say you bought it for 200,000, just keep it simple, and then the market crashes and now it's only worth 170. You cannot sell that house unless you pay $30,000. Like you're down 30K. So people act like the numbers is just like just imaginary. Like no, they real numbers when it's time to get out of the asset. Same
Mm-hmm.
thing with your cars. Like you upside down, you can't get out of the car unless you roll
Okay.
over the negative equity. But you can't do that with houses. There is no rolling over negative equity. You stuck
Exactly.
with it.
Yep.
Somebody asked, Shad asked, do we invest out of state?
I haven't yet, but I'm planning to. When I'm back focused on cash flow, I'm probably gonna go to a lower cost market, the Memphises, the Cleveland, something like that, to get some quick cash flow and just pay cash and not have to worry about mortgages and things like that. But I haven't yet.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I live in another state now, so my property is in Maryland, but I live in Texas, so but it wasn't like that when I bought it. So I mean, for me, I haven't invested out of state like right now, but I plan to next month. So I mean, if it makes sense for you, you should definitely go for it. But you just need to make sure that you have a good team, like a good realtor, good property management, because I definitely do recommend property management if you're doing out of state.
Yeah.
Um, Good property manager, just good maintenance team. Just make sure you have good people around you in that city that you're trying to invest in.
Mm-hmm.
Slew, you said, what should you do if you don't want anybody touch your Xbox in the living room? Regular people, like, it's gonna be like having a roommate situation. So I'd move it to your room. Like, the likelihood of you just saying, hey, don't touch my Xbox, they might listen, but I mean, when you're not there, you really never know.
Yeah. Facts.
Um,
What's this say?
Somebody asked how do you get started? I just recommend you to go back and listen to the replay after this. We explain exactly how to get started.
Yeah.
Um,
They late.
yeah, somebody asked, what do you suggest doing? You suggest doing a full gut for your first property or later down the line once you gain enough capital?
I mean, if you're doing a 2 or 3K, like the price difference is not gonna be it's not gonna be substantial. It's probably gonna be exact same amount, especially if you was just thinking about doing something turnkey. So the reason I recommend doing it on the first one is because you're gonna make mistakes anyway. So
Hmm.
why not get them all out the way? Why not be able to learn, about all the different mechanicals, all the different aspects of construction on the first go around? Like
Hmm.
you gonna bump your head, you're gonna make some mistakes along the way, but you just gotta get it done. Like you just gotta get it done. And I promise you will have so much knowledge from, that full process. That's why I recommend just doing it on your first go around and really, really investing the time to do your due diligence to make sure you have a competent contractor, HUD consultant, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and then with the 203K loan, like it's not like you're using your own money, like you're not using a hard money lender or anything like that. So that saves you a lot of headache and like a lot of money, honestly. You're not it's not the traditional renovation where you got to use a hard money lender, take drawdowns from them. There's penalties and all that kind of stuff. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I really think that the 203K loan is kind of like, it's almost like a risk-free way to learn how to get into real estate. If I would have known about it, I would have did that when I bought my first property. I would have did that, and then you said you did it twice now, so that's crazy.
Yeah, well, the first one wasn't full gut. It was mostly cosmetic, but I
Mhm.
wish I would have did the full gut. And at the time, like the ARV, it didn't really make sense to do a full gut. It made sense to do cosmetic, but if I knew what I knew now, if I knew the ARV was gonna shoot up, it was
Yeah,
another 50 grand, I would have just did it.
yeah,
And now it would have been worth even more. Instead of 299, I probably would have been selling for probably like probably like 339 right now. So I definitely would have had the bread to do it.
yeah.
I
That's
still,
crazy. That's crazy. So Slew asks, how do you determine how much to charge your tenants/roommates if you're house hacking?
so I don't know really from a roommate perspective. I don't have that experience, so I'm gonna let you touch on it. But from a tenant perspective, I just go out and I look at the comps. So I'm going on apartments.com. I'm going on the Zillows. I'm going on the Trulios, and I'm looking at what's on the market right now and how much people are charging for rent. And then I'm just basing it on that. So you just leverage the data, leverage the comps to see what you're gonna get, and then you can test the market too. So maybe you see, a lot of people going for 1,300. A comparable unit is going for 1,300. You may say, okay, I'm gonna put it up at 1,400 or 1,350, and let the market tell you whether or not that's a good price point. If you're getting a ton of traction when you're showing the apartment, then obviously the price point is decent. If you're not, then that's telling you you need to go back to the drawing board and lower that price. So you can test the market, but also just rely on the data at hand too.
Yeah. So when it comes to the roommates, I like using this website called Roomster, Roomster. So like you can go on there, you can find people like roommates. You can find people looking for rooms to rent out, and you can look and see what other people are charging for the rooms where they're at. So really, all you got to do is go on there, look at your area, see how much other people are charging for like the rooms that they're renting out, and kind of like compare their whole property compared to yours. Like, do they have amenities? Like, what, like, is it going to be a suite? Is the bathroom attached? How is it a walk-in closet? That kind of stuff. So make sure it's like comparable. So don't go find the highest one you see, and they got like it's fully renovated, like granite, walk-in closet, master bath or bathroom attached to it and stuff like that, and think you can charge that much. So it's just got to be like comparable, just like you said. And then even for like single families and duplexes and stuff like that, you can use this website called Rentometer. So it's rentometer.com. So like that website, you can check comps in your area and see what it's running for as well.
Yeah. I don't think rental media is free, but
It's
it's
not
worth.
free anymore?
I think it's free for like maybe the first unit, but if you use it over and over again, I think they try to charge you.
Man.
It used to be free though. I remember those days.
Yeah, yeah. When I used it, it was free.
Hmm.
Somebody asked you, Alex, they asked, do you plan on growing your rental portfolio beyond the properties you have in Chicago?
Somewhere down the line, right now, I'm honestly just focused on capital, man, because like I mentioned, we're at the top of the market in Chicago, and I just see it just coming crashing down at some point. I don't know when, and it's really, really hard to say now, especially since the inventory is so limited. Because even if evictions, I think it really would take for evictions to just go, not just evictions, but foreclosures to go crazy after they release the protections that's in place right now for the price points to come down. And I just really want to prepare for that, because just to give you guys a numbers perspective, it's like I bought my most recent property that's we doing a full gut for 75K, and this was a month and a half ago. Now properties like that, they're going as high as 180, and that's same thing. They need a full gut. They're
Wow.
still 2 unit, and like they're still going like that. So
So
it's
how
crazy
do you
out here.
find that property? Was it a deal?
I found it on I actually found it on Redfin. Like it came on the market. Literally, I hit up my realtor like this the one.
Mm-hmm.
Like we need to get in quick. It was on the market for 59. And I'm like, I gotta get it. So I'm gonna pay a premium, especially since it's a 2 or 3K loan,
Mm-hmm.
because most sellers kind of
Two or three K.
frown upon FHA because it takes a little bit longer to close. But this is my first experience with a foreclosure, so this is obviously a bank,
Mm-hmm.
and they was actually they wanted a first time home buyer. So what me and my girl did, because I bought it with my girl, we actually included a picture of us as well as a note saying who we are, what we trying to do with the property,
Mm-hmm.
um, with the offer, and then we got it like that. So
Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. I think we got like a few more minutes here. Yo, but yeah, that's dope. This was really good. There's a lot of good information. You know what time we started? I think we started around like
like 210 maybe. I don't know.
2:10. Yeah. Yeah, nah, that's definitely dope. Like when it comes to finding these, oh, so when you were saying like you told your realtor to move quick, like when you are trying to buy a property, don't drag your feet, like because
Mm-hmm.
nobody else in the market is dragging their feet. They see something they
Yeah,
want, hey, I want this, and we gonna get it. Like they're not gonna drag their feet, they're gonna move quick. So if you serious, you need to be serious about it.
that,
Don't just drag your feet because whatever you thought was going to be there, trust me, in this market, it's not going to be there 30 days later. It's going to be gone.
definitely not.
Yeah, if it is there 30 days later, then there's probably something wrong with the property.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's facts. Big facts.
yeah, yeah. So thank you for coming on, Brian. This is another week of Finance Fridays. If you could just let people know where to find you at, your websites, your courses, things like that, that'll be great.
Yep. So appreciate you having me on. Y'all can find me on Instagram, obviously. The infamous CPA with underscore. Unfortunately, hopefully I get my page back. But all the information on courses, you can hit the link in my bio, or you can just go to the infamouscpa.com and click on the Let's Work tab.
What's your?
My dude talking about, he didn't ask a question. He
Yeah,
just
you ain't asked a question.
talking. But yeah, all the information is on my website. I'm on Twitter at the infamous CPA. No underscore there, it's just the infamous CPA. And those are the two main platforms that I use. But all my courses are on sale. I'm switching from Gumroad to Teachable in like a week. So hey, they discounted like crazy, everything like 55% off. So hey, grab them where they can because the price is going up double. So grab them while you can, because all those better platforms are not cheap.
Right, they aren't. You gotta pay. You definitely gotta pay for the better platforms. But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for coming on again. This was great. I'll see you all next Friday. So yeah, thank you.
All right. Peace.
Thanks everybody.
Yeah.